I'm Tig, welcome back to week 40 of me documenting my progress as a musician and guitarist. 40 weeks is pretty monumental, and not only week 40 of me making videos like this, but week 4 of me putting together a song that I started about a month ago. I started writing an instrumental piece that came from humble beginnings, just these chords here. To, at the end of last week's video, almost being a fully finished piece. I was just missing one final section. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through building that section, adding lots of layers, synths, guitars, even some drums, and showing you how this full-length track sounds all together. Let's get into it. For a recap, I think 2 videos ago, I made basically all of this section, which is basically 3 verses. It started off just with some chords like this, and then we gradually added in instruments. So there was more guitars. Basically, I didn't want to add any drums. And then there was just some slight soft synth. This one is just a really quiet, like tranquility sound. If you can even hear that right now. By the time we got to the 3rd verse, we were looking at more like a little bit more percussive. I kind of made some drums using the rhythm of my guitar to make it sound like this. And then when we get to this section coming up, it really starts to build. Cut out and we go into the bridge, which I added last week. Not yet. So this section, you can already see it's going to be a lot louder because it's just got way more things playing. So let me show you all the parts together, then I'll play the full thing. I started by building on but then I wanted it to feel a lot more dramatic, basically, and a lot more atmospheric. So I searched around some sounds and I found a choir and this other ambient landscape that sounds a bit like this. Very dramatic. Then I added that in with a little bit more synth to give it a bit more rhythm to it. Sounds a bit weird on its own, but with everything else added in it sounds pretty cool. So then we carried on the drums to give it a bit more rhythm. But then you couple that with the guitars that I had playing before and the synths I had playing before, and you can hear it starting to come together like. That on its own doesn't sound heavy, it doesn't sound like the big crescendo that I was going for, so I needed to add a lot more firepower. I started off by adding a big pounding bass going through it like this. Then I went and did something that I've been holding off the entire time of making this project, which is I actually went in and added some drums. I thought if there's any time to finally bring them in, it's like right at the end if I'm going for something heavy, a big finale. So I leaned into the fact that it is an electronic piece. So I used an electronic drum kit. I made the drums basically very robotic to the point where a human could never play them like this. It's perfect. Every note is played with the same velocity, like the cymbal would be hit with the exact same strength and the exact perfect timing 4 times in a row, which would actually never happen in real life. The result was a very robotic, rigid drum layer to attach, which was what I was going for. And now you can imagine that when we bring that back in with the guitars that we already had playing from before, along with the synths that I just showed you, we start to get a pretty full sound. But I don't know about you, hearing that doesn't feel quite finished. It feels like there's something missing. And for me, that was some more guitars, but not guitars that were like soft, small note, like for example, the sound of, or even, no, something much bigger, like a full wall of guitars, something that again hadn't really appeared in the track before. So I added 2 extra guitars. I added this riff. These chords. Now, I'm going to bring It sounds a bit more like... To me, that sounds much better and much more for what I was going for as a way to close the song. Like a big final chorus after a whole 3 minutes and 42 seconds of building up one by one, instrument by instrument, layer by layer. Now, there was one missing piece, which was the lead guitar. Now, arguably, it doesn't even need lead guitar, but me being who I am, I feel they need to add that in. But I wanted to do it in a tasteful way. In the first couple of videos, I kind of did like a guitar solo over this track. But as the weeks have progressed, I've been writing more of this. I've been leaning more into the atmospheric side of it, the synths. The fact that what makes this track interesting is how it builds up, and I bring new instruments and sounds in one by one. I didn't want to take too much attention away from that. So my aim with what I'm about to play now, with me playing some guitar over the top of it, is just to add yet one final layer that basically gives me an excuse to visually show you the song, rather than just showing the production side on the laptop, show myself performing it. But it's done in a way that is a lot more minimal guitar playing than what I would normally do, at least for my standards. So here it is. So I hope you enjoyed the piece. And if you watched the last few weeks' videos, I hope you've enjoyed seeing how it came together. I had a lot of fun documenting that process and actually showing myself in real time, discovering how to use synths and areas of Logic, my production software, that I'm not really too familiar with. And also writing a song like this, an electronic infused instrumental track, in a way that is like fully finished. At this point, I'd be ready to send it off for mixing and mastering, and it'll be like a full piece. I record little ideas, like sparks of what could be songs all the time, but rarely do I push myself to see them through to turn them into fully fledged pieces. There were many days, in fact, basically after the first week, so which 4 weeks ago, I kind of got bored of it and I didn't really feel like finishing it. But after releasing my EP last year and putting out a body of work, I realized that I want to add to the body of work. I don't want to just be the musician that has loads of ideas but doesn't actually get anything done and has nothing to show for it. So even if it's brick by brick, even if it's pieces that certainly are not, I don't even feel as my best piece of my full potential at all, but just more of an experiment, I want to be in the habit of fully finishing things and building out my musical portfolio that way. In my current stage of life, where I'm working all day, every day on my main business and don't really have an abundance of time to be creative with music, I really want to emphasize for myself to develop the muscle of follow through and taking the approach of not just writing when I feel inspired to, but kind of, in a sense, forcing myself to, with the intention of getting things done over just waiting for the perfect moment. And that's just a general approach I want to take while I have very limited time to spend on music and guitar. So whether that's songwriting or whether that's me improving as a guitar player, getting faster, improving my picking, that's the approach I'm going to take. On that note, it's been a while since I've showed my picking progress, even though it's something I do every day. So next week, I'm going to show 6 weeks of picking progress doing the same drill every single day. So if you're curious to see how I improve as a musician and guitarist week to week, then hit subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.